everyone. Happy Saturday, day 20. Right off the bat, I wanted to say that you all are very inspiring, especially those on the West Coast, waking up at 7 in the morning. Not sure if you're all early birds, but this qualifies you as now being an early bird. And then on top of that, holding your breath until your nervous system starts to freak out. It's not easy, right? But I hope at this point it's becoming more of a habit than anything. You just wake up and some part of you is like, this is just what I do. That's a really beautiful thing. So again, congratulations, very inspiring. I mentioned it yesterday, but take a second to look at everyone else, to see others participating in the challenges that you yourself are participating in. Is always inspiring and motivating. It tells us, despite kaivalya, that we are alone, that we are also together. So, a lot of faces right there to be inspired by, as you all inspire me. So, thank you. And cool. So, what we're going to get into today is what we did yesterday. We're going to work on baya kumbhaka, the external retention, but we're going to accelerate the speed in which we get back into that external retention. And so there's a little pattern there. Acceleration tends to create more anxiousness, and that's a very general pattern. But you'll find that because now you're going to just, at first we'll do 2 full breaths, inhale, exhale, and hold that bottom retention. But then towards the end of our practice, we'll just separate the external retentions with 1 breath. So you're holding your breath for as long as you can, and it's a very slow inhale, very slow exhale, and again, back into that external retention. It's just gonna feel like you don't have any time to catch your wind. And that's good because this is where we're trying to go. I mentioned before, meditation is a journey, right? It's an attempt to get from a point A. That point A is a biological, neurological, and in that, deeply real sense of separation and isolation, right? Kaivalya, from the world. And then we're trying to get to a point B where, despite that aloneness, we feel interconnected and a part of said reality. So point A to point B. And that neurological or sort of experiential cognitive change is matched with an internal change. So the more we can change internally, our blood chemistry and the signal strength of our nervous system, the more we can change physically, the more we will change mentally. And so the frequency and intensity of our breath retention and the duration in which we can hold our breath, if we can push it for longer and longer and longer, will provide that transformation for us. And so that's one thing I've mentioned previously. Another thing I mentioned were 3 checkpoints along the path of this transformation to this point B. And the first was sweating, right? So you're holding your breath with such intensity you start to sweat. And then the second checkpoint was that you start to tremble. And so at this point, the levels of CO2 are so high in your body that your sympathetic nervous system is releasing enough adrenaline that the body starts to tremble with either anxiety or excitement. It depends on how you absorb the condition. In the same way that someone can eat a habanero pepper and get very excited about it and want more, and someone else can just take a little sliver and that's ruined the meal. We want to sort of entrain ourselves to enjoy the heat, and that heat is tapas. And so sweating, trembling, and then psychological levitation. If you just stay in that state, committed to a practice that is now familiar enough that it can become automatic. You don't really have to think about it so much. The mind and the body split, and your body is just performing kumbhaka to the extreme, and you're sort of in there, very sort of clearly resting as an observer, as Atman, as the soul. And that's a powerful and informative experience for the practitioner. It gives them evidence, at least subjective evidence, that something within me is deep enough within me, or intangible enough within me, or expansive enough within me that it is not affected. It is not affected by what's going on physically. And that leads into the conversation of spirit, and that opens this whole Pandora's box of maybe reincarnation. What am I? Am I the body or am I the soul? And that sort of contemplation and questioning and curiosity is the heart of the philosophy. And these philosophies are really beautiful stuff. So that's what we're going to attempt to get into today. That's all I really wanted to say. So happy Saturday, day 20. You all are inspiring, and take that to heart, and let's get into this practice. So again, just to clarify, you're only taking 2 breaths. And so your ability to breathe in slowly and deeply will benefit you, because that's going to give you more time out of the suffocation of the external retention. So slow breaths, but that'll be really hard because you've been holding your breath for as long as possible. Exhale, 2 breaths, inhale, exhale, and then boom, hold the breath. If you want to increase the intensity, despite the intensity I'm already sort of like placing upon you, Uddiyana Bandha, pull the belly in. And then I'll cue 1 breath in between. Just an inhale, exhale, hold. You're holding as long as you can. Inhale, exhale, hold. Holding as long as you can. And the final sort of refresher from yesterday is, remember, stay as relaxed as possible for 98% of your retention. But when the nervous system goes into red, right, into extreme panic, your mental will is dissolving, and your body's going to take over, which is inevitable. Then you start to tighten and you grip as much as you can, as if you were holding on to the breathlessness. So just a little technique for you. Okay, cool. Let's get into this, everyone. Powerful, powerful seated position. Hips tilt forward, arms are straight. Spread your fingers very wide. Remember yesterday, connect to the top of your hands, now pointing down, and the top of the forearm, now pointing down. And if you engage those muscles, it will enable you to spread your fingers wider. Why are we spreading our fingers this wide? To feel nerve sensation and blood flow in the skin. And so as you lock onto that sensation, notice it feels good. It's like a tickling. And mentally, it is evidence that you are still there, as silly as that sounds. But through the little thought experiment, if by magic your hands disappeared and your brain stopped receiving this subtle signal, despite being impossible, that would be a problem. And you would feel that nothingness. And it would more than likely be terrifying, if not just confusing. And the bigger point is that tingling feels good. And for that, it is called sukshma. Suk is sweetness. Sukshma is the subtle sweetness of the body. And the expansive philosophies of yoga say it's not just the subtle sweetness of the body, although it is, in truth, but when everything dissolves into subatomic form, everything holds this sukh, everything holds this sweetness. It is the broth of material existence. And then whether we are young or old, healthy or sick, rich or poor, tired or energized, happy or sad, this buzz is there. Whether we are human, animal, plant, mineral, this buzzing is there. Bring a random finger to each thumb. Hasta mudra, hand gesture, and this provides us with an understanding we're doing something intentional, skillful, and specific. We are not just sitting down. We're not just letting our minds wander. We are holding ourselves accountable to layers upon layers of form, starting with the body. Now start to deepen your breath, and what I would encourage you to do is, really work on your inhale, because your inhale is going to provide you the space out of the external retention. It's going to be the pause. It's going to be the time in which you can recollect yourself, feed oxygen to starving cells, when you exhale for now, exhale through the mouth. Remember to ensure complete emptiness in the lungs. So deep breaths in, exhale through the mouth. Every ounce of air is pushed out. This will ensure the quality of your baya kumbhaka, your external retention. Okay, when you're ready, exhale, hold the breath for as long as possible. Once you can no longer hold the breath, take 2 breaths in between. On that second exhale, hold the breath again. When the nervous system and mind go into red, panic, contract, make fists with your mudras, clench your jaw, pull your belly in, paralyze the muscular body so that the inhale reflex is delayed for a second or 2. All the while, do your best to look past the thought process, past the surface suffocation, and attempt to feel, more than likely in your center line, that same buzz, that same vibration. There's a reason why yoga suggests the mind is both the obstacle and the key. And it's because our perceptions of things changes our relationships to those things. The way we understand what's happening or what's in front of us matters. So I'd like you to think of a butterfly fighting its way out of a chrysalis, or a centipede fighting its way out of its molting exoskeleton. It's a struggle. As we absorb more prana, yogis essentially believe the seed of divinity within us, our potential, the hope of higher consciousness, of greater self-control, a more authentic self, is hatching from within our biology. And that thought alone might add a bit more willingness, a bit more openness to the sensations. While the muscles tighten as if they're holding on, let the mind let go. Release control. Let acidity build. Let contraction increase. Karma is the inner intentionality that we operate from to perform our actions. You are all willing because you're participating. But now, with excitement, eagerly dive back into the retention. Develop a palate for this acidity and for this suffocation. Some part of your mind knows you are safe. There is no danger, it's only discomfort. It's heat. And appreciate that as everything spirals into maximum intensity, the moment the nervous system fires red, your mind is single-pointed. There is nothing but this moment. Nothing but your awareness and the immediate experience of your inner body. Try to recognize that flash of supreme presence. And so you are harvesting the energy, the wakefulness, by building CO2 to achieve this flash of supreme presence. Pranayama, prana energy, ayam, expand upon. I expand upon my energy by controlling my breath. Okay, just for a few minutes, not too long, one breath in between. Holding, deep inhale. Slow exhale, hold the breath again. Deep inhale, slow exhale, hold the breath again. Sweating is good, trembling is better. Last round. Relax, feel vibratory sensation. And then breathe normally through the nose. And as you breathe normally through the nose, feel the body vibrating, exhilarated as it has returned back to what is normal, homeostasis. From time to time, think of Kaivalya. You are deep within yourself, alone within yourself. And a beautiful, exciting, enriched, and vibrant world coats you and layers you. From time to time, hold your breath delicately for a second or 2 seconds just to boost your presence and induce heightened mindfulness. Dramatically slow down the breath. Notice the natural occurrence of KUMBHAKA. A half-second hold at the top of the inhale, a half-second hold at the bottom of the exhale. And now externalize your mind. You are alone, kaivalya, but alone with the entirety of the world. It's just you in existence. Everyone else, everything else is just an expression of that other. Just a leaf on the tree of life. But you are uniquely conscious, uniquely distinct, at least in this moment. Inhale, arms up and overhead, palms touch above you. Notice the potential in your posture. Slowly exhale, hands to heart center. Keep the spine tall and the foundation active. Testing sentience, increase your sincerity. Feel your body. Consider the world. And again, a one-on-one with existence. From here, extend gratitude into the fact that you exist. And that because of this consciousness that this breathwork allows us to access and build upon, we not only experience what we experience, but an intuitive sense of understanding is also encouraged. And that feels good. So gratitude. Soften your face. And so you're communicating to something. What are you communicating to? Through the millennia of yoga, it has had many names. Ishvara, Prakriti, Purush, Shiv, Vishnu, Narayan, Rudra, Brahman. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Acknowledge that which can acknowledge existence. Without an observer, creation has no value. Without creation, awareness has no value. That awareness within you is the big point. That is Atman. And so just focus on your thumbs touching the skin of your forehead. If you can sense that part within you, say Namaste. Speak to yourself. With an exhale, release your wrists to your knees. Random finger to each thumb. Your hands are something like flowers. With a breath in, open your eyes. And now the ideas become real. You are observing the manifest through walls, through your home.